Ride that mic.
111.
111. But get right on the mic so we can...
Like this?
Like, yeah.
Like this?
Too close.
How's this?
Very close to things I like.
ASMR German. All right. Who is your daddy and what does he do? I couldn't help it.
There are things we think we know about places, but history, prejudice, stereotypes, and the viral nature of 24-hour news and social media has made common knowledge about faraway places more twisted than ever.
Today, as always, on MisInfoNation, we try and clear up some of the outright lies, myths, mistakes, and misnomers of an entire country by doing what we do best, by having a chat with people who actually know what they're talking about.
Today, we visit Die Vaterland. Today we visit the fatherland.
The well-oiled machine that is the world's third most powerful country in terms of GDP after the USA and China.
A country of infamy, for both good and bad.
That's right, fellow travelers. Today, it's Deutschland über alles. That wonderful land of fat sausages, perfect cars, and unlistenable industrial electronic techno music. Germany.
Today on the show, we're having our first family affair. We're with a young, altogether sharp as a tack, Tom Noack, and his measured, cool, calm, and collected uncle, Felix.
So let's get into it. Welcome to a pristine, perfectly engineered, word-perfect, over-insured episode of MisInfoNation. But first, we wanted to not specifically make this episode all about Germany's infamous past, so...
All right, so I guess we have to explain this. It's a hotel bell. Go for it.
Oh, Jesus.
So that signifies we're getting too close to World War II?
Yeah. And every time the bell rings, we're going to take points off your moral value by the end.
Like a driver's license?
Yeah, exactly. We'll give you 18 points. So let's get down to brass tacks. Let's get in the zone. Let's harness our most serious work ethic. Let's get to know Tom and Felix. We're going to be concise, efficient,
Understood.
quick.
Mm-hmm. The engineering is going to be spotless.
Yes. So state your name, your occupation, and your relation to each other.
That's not funny. My name is Tom Werner Albert Noack. I work in consulting, and this man next to me is my uncle Felix.
And you, Felix?
I'm Felix, and that's it.
Say your full name.
You guys don't have a...
Come on, we'll post your socials.
He doesn't want his last name associated with this garbage.
Oh, shit. All right. Jesus Christ.
Right. Tom and Felix are both Berliners, which should be noted. It is the biggest, most important, most recognizable, least German city in the country. You are very specific that Berlin is not Germany.
Absolutely.
I think that capital cities always have more in common with each other than with the rest of their actual country. And Berlin always had this reputation and reality of being a place for the alternatives, the people who kind of want to see some action happening.
What kind of action?
Well,
I think that generally every, stereotype that you have about Germans, like in Berlin, it's the absolute opposite.
Right.
I mean, like it's, I think maybe before, ring the bell for the war. Before the war, before the war, maybe it was different, but after the war, there was a specific clientele, especially in West Berlin, that didn't want to go to the army. And then you had when the wall came down, you had lots of space, right, to for clubs and alternative spaces and
The
stuff.
slackers of
But,
Germany.
Yes, yeah.
We always get the same kind of statistic up when we say most European countries benefit from their capitals. If Berlin was not a part of Germany, Germany would be better off financially.
Yeah, exactly.
And honestly, I'm fucking proud of that. Shoutouts to the Bavarians. Let them pay.
Just constantly sitting in the back of the bus.
Yeah.
Berlin. So these Berlin-born bohemian rebels don't quite fit the idea of the average German. But that is, of course, what we try to do here. We should say also that both of us have had a long relationship with the city of Berlin, especially Dre.
Full disclosure, I lived in Berlin for 6 months, so I'm kind of infiltrated into this episode a little bit. But when I was there, the mayor had famously had this phrase about Berlin, which is that it's arm aber sexy.
Yeah.
Aber sexy.
Poor, but sexy.
Poor but sexy. I mean, I've been to Berlin many times.
Yeah.
And it's both of those. Well, no, it's not. It's only one of those things.
What are you trying to say?
And some very sexy times in Berlin.
Okay, I can deal with that.
So as is tradition around here, we want to know all about Tom and Felix's own perception of themselves in this cool, cliche blending, brutalist masterpiece of a podcast.
What do you guys think we're going to ask you about today?
Yeah.
Drugs, sex parties, dinner kebab, and gentrification.
Great.
Hitler. We started Hitler, and then we
Neil
go
saw
to
it coming.
cars, and then we go to beer, and then we go to potato salad and sausages and work ethic. That's how we're gonna
Fantastic.
round up the whole
great.
episode.
Perfect.
What about you, Tom?
Cars, also money in general, and then of course Lederhosen und Kartoffeln.
And thank you for dressing up today.
Yeah. Came prepared.
So while Tom and Felix adjust their lederhosen and sweat it out in our studio here in Barcelona, we open a couple of cans of Berliner beer and settle in with the most obvious and insulting question first. Like always. Germans are inflexible people obsessed with order and rules.
Shit.
They're quiet. They're very quiet. They're kind of nodding.
They look very sheepishly at each other. They're both staring straight down.
Trying to figure out how to handle this one.
May I start? So at home, the both of us, we come from a family artist essentially. The vibe is pretty well described by our great-grandfather saying to my mother or my aunt when she told him she wanted to become a doctor. He looked at her, an artist, successful one, and said, you want to look at injuries all day long? Implying, do something fucking proper with your life. Like, do art.
Why do you want to be a doctor? What's wrong with you?
Yeah. So we come from that kind of side where you would say, okay, all of this is not that much important. If I see myself relative to my siblings and some other people in my family, I always had the feeling like I'm obsessed with a little bit of control and having a plan and going straight forward. So I always felt very German in that way. Compared to the people I'm studying with right now, I'm a fucking lunatic.
I'm out of control.
Just
You felt like you were from Cuba or something.
it's like I was the South American in that equation for some reason, and I still feel that way sometimes when I'm here in Barcelona. I'm like, okay, I have to adjust to people being late, and my heart is breaking, but I understand that, that they're not from where I'm from, so it has a different meaning.
Every minute that passes, you die a little bit.
Neil, the first time
I know, I was
yeah.
just about to bring it up. I cooked for a bunch of people at my house. I don't think you were here.
No.
I swear I looked at my watch and it was like exactly like 2 on the dot, and my
doorbell
buzzer went, and it was Tom, and he was like, I've been outside for 3 minutes. I was just waiting for it to ring. I was like, you're so...
So Tom hits the nail on the head, and to illustrate just how much the Germans love the rules and public shaming, Felix is reminded of a very German superhero of sorts.
One of the biggest social media stars right now in Germany is some guy called the Anzeigenhauptmeister.
Shout out.
Shout out to this guy. And he goes around to German cities, villages, and just like takes photos of people that park wrong. And then he sends it to the police. He's a huge deal, man.
People love this guy.
That's our hero right now. And he has some following, so people are joining the movement. And
Rules is rebellion. He's a fucking German Banksy.
Yeah,
Look how wrong this guy's car's parked.
What? Look at this shit. Everyone's like, ooh.
He's great. You should check him out on Instagram at DEUTSCHER_ANZEIGE.
ANZEIGA. Anyway, it's super. Good luck. You know what? Just look him up.
we love conformity, I guess, or being compliant to the rules, I guess.
Close to the bell.
Sometimes.
Yes. So that kind of behavior didn't serve us so well in the last 100 years.
All this stuff in the end it's about social, like, community, like being late, putting your trash in the right place. Like, all this stuff isn't so much about like the rules as much as it is like we're all living here.
Yeah.
Right?
But let's not make a big deal about it. Let's just be really quiet about it.
I don't know. Like, I think the fundamental idea you were uttering is correct, where it's like this is a service to the community that each and every one of us has to do.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, we all live our lives day by day somehow. So when someone does something that's not the way it's supposed to be, or you do it, then you don't think about community. You think, fuck you.
Kind of a beautiful sentiment, right? The Germans are sticklers for the rules because, well, excuse them, but they care too damn much.
They care so much, in fact, that we here at MisInfoNation uncovered a very strange obsession, which, taking into account the character trait just expertly explained by Tom, makes total sense.
You guys seem to have like a good way of taking care of everything, even like late on into life.
What does that mean?
You're obsessed with insurance.
Shit.
Is it true?
I do have my insurance.
Do you have your card on you right now?
Did you choose the
you
right
really?
insurance?
I mean, like
Was it a big decision for you? I took out a life insurance on Neo.
Uncovered. If I get hit by a car on the way out of here tonight, I'm absolutely fucked. It's true. Germany is the most insured country on earth.
The saddest bit of data. I mean, think about this. You can even insure your cinema tickets just in case plans change and you can't make the screening. Let that sink in.
There is insurance literally for everything. And although private liability insurance, as it is known, isn't mandatory, it may as well be, because Germans don't like to take any chances.
Especially when it comes to their love of automobiles. Germans love their cars.
Absolutely.
I also do be loving my motor vehicles. It is true.
So as careful and methodical as the Germans can be, there is one place in the country where all rules and limits go right out the fenster.
The Autobahn, Germany's insane network of highways. This is the only place in the country where you can go as fast as you damn well please.
As long as you're insured, of course.
I think for the Americans, like gun laws are the thing that is very, very, like super big topic. Yeah. And for us, it's the speed limit.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And that was introduced by our friend
Adolf Hitler. Was it? Actually, I just said the name because you looked at me like that.
Yes.
But
No limit.
Yeah, but that was the question, right? Yeah, so there's no speed limit on the Autobahn.
There's no speed limit. I personally drove 260, I think. Wow. But
Did you feel like amazing?
no, I mean, like in proper German cars, you know, like you don't feel the speed that much. But
What is that in miles per hour?
Divided by 0.6.
160 miles per hour. But a friend of mine had recently had a Lamborghini, and he drove 186 miles per hour.
Wow.
That is properly fast.
So here you need strict adherence to rules so people don't die, basically.
But yeah, well,
You're very conserved. You're very like cool. You're very.
But
like,
the Autobahn-
But the Autobahn, no.
I
Just,
can't do that. Like,
just lead foot.
no matter how fast you go, you always meet someone that you know, like,
overtaken.
it's gonna be behind you.
Flashing his lights.
I've been driving that road between the Autobahn between Berlin and Frankfurt, which is typical Autobahn for business people, and they all drive their Audi A6s and BMW company cars. And then you have a train of limousines going through at over 200 kph, overtaking each other. And
Limo.
I do have to say, yeah,
Someone out the sunroof.
it's fun. It's super fun, but also nowadays people fight about if it's actually necessary, and then oftentimes this emotional argument comes up, which
Yes, exactly.
some Americans might have with gun laws.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, this kind of is who we are, and this is such a big part of this country, and that's what everyone knows. If you go that fast, it kind of feels cool as well. But then on the other hand, do you have to go 200 kph?
Yes. Fuck yes.
You know,
It's
This is the part in the show where
Yeah.
I remind myself to check out the German death toll,
Yep.
road death toll.
That's not that high.
Yeah, find out that
Let's
number.
see. I bet you it's not as much as Australia.
Bet it's higher here.
As morbid as it felt, I did indeed look at the numbers.
So in 2023, Germany had 3.8 road deaths per 100,000 citizens.
Spain has 3.9.
Australia, 5.0.
The USA, 12.9 per 100,000 people.
And in Bolivia, 21.1 people per 100,000.
Germany is actually ranked on the World Population Review as the 13th safest country to drive in the world.
Whew, okay, no more Googling death, Neil. Let's get on to something a little more fun.
The Germans' world-renowned lack of humor. Obviously, we know this from knowing you guys for a little while now. Germans are very unfriendly, direct, serious, and without humor.
Yes. Hell yeah.
sometimes I do the humor. Most of the time I try to avoid it. Shit, man.
It's so weird when you know people for a while. This is what the great thing about this show is, where you're just like, this is not. I can't even believe I'm writing it down, but it just has to be done, you know.
Yeah, you have to
it's
get
like
past it.
I'm just
Exercises.
gonna answer for you. This is not true and it's bullshit. But it is kind of true. Fuck.
What?
The Germanic humor, which both Tom and Felix are quiet masters at, is definitely something of an acquired taste. But does this off-kilter, precise kind of dry comedy come as a consequence of this perceived unfriendliness?
No touching, no hugging, no laughing. Actually, that doesn't seem like Tom and Felix at all. The unfriendly, it's just a reading. It's like what you think is friendly.
Yeah.
You're not going to get big, meaty hugs.
I don't know. We have some pretty meaty hugs.
We play it.
Felix is laughing.
I feel a bit violated every time.
That just made me think of, this is a great line. There's a DJ here a while back, DJ Schubert. His last name was Schubert. And there was one night where it was very late, and he said this phrase where it was like, the Germans, we always have a little nugget of hate in our heart.
Just the sweetest representation of a piece. A nugget. You guys got any nuggets of hate?
Fuck Yeah. Wait, no. Dicker.
That's funny.
With this unpoliteness, I think that's exactly what you said. It's the perception. So, for instance, English as a language allows you to be far more welcoming, and it's super normal to ask anyone, "Hey, how are you doing, man?" If I would do that in German, "Na, wie geht's dir?" If I don't know you, that would be weird. You don't. And then
Never ask.
the thought behind it is like, we don't know each other that well. I know you don't give a shit about how I feel. I don't give a shit about you as well. And it's this professional kind of distance. We talked about it.
Yeah,
we talked about the hugging thing.
Yeah.
Like shaking your guys' hand would be a bit weird.
Yeah.
We did it the other day.
We did
was
it
really
the
fun.
other day for friends, but we were talking about it.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
right.
like, Tom was like, if I go to a party, I have to shake every single person's hand. I was like, I'm never going to shake your hand. We're just going to bump and grind.
Someone might get pregnant. You don't know. It's part of the deal.
Contrary to salacious rumors, neither Tom nor I are pregnant.
He does, however, have a theory about the Northern versus Southern European mentality.
Germans and Northern Europeans have a tendency to be described as coconuts, where it's hard to get in and then it gets soft, whereas Southern Europeans, which is my reference, are more like peaches.
Yep.
Baby juicy.
But then you could break a tooth.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, correct. But that's kind of the explanation or metaphor I heard for it.
Are you a peach or a coconut? I already know the answer.
I don't know.
He's a Jew.
They found me.
Oh, no.
Good God. So we're not quite giving up on this line of questioning just yet. Andrés counters with a question about the resting Berlin bitch face.
When you're in Berlin, do you have another face that you use on the street? You know what I'm saying?
I have a tendency to not smile that much, but also because I don't feel comfortable with it because I'm not happy. not like
I just saw that go through Felix's head. He was like, ah, fuck, he's right.
not like in general, but like when I'm out and about, holding down
Yeah.
the streets, however the kids say nowadays. Holding it down. Shout outs to my brother. He's gonna correct me on this in the voice message. My face rests, and that's not happy.
So, German character assassination complete.
Right.
Let's move on to another one of the headlines from the Misinformation Bank.
Germans are all blonde-haired, blue-eyed giants.
Blondes. So many blondes. All blondes. Just
everybody's
blondes. Blonde. Look,
In
Yeah.
real Germany, but not in
ding
Berlin.
and questionable.
So Felix, I think we have proof somewhere in old pictures. I am also blonde.
Yep.
So we are blonde. We come from a family of blonde people, but we're not as
Stay away from the bell.
Wait,
He's
wait,
just saying
wait.
blonde. It's fine.
I'm protecting the bell with my hand here. We're not as consistently as blonde as for instance, the Swedish are. I think Germany has a border with France. Just what are these other countries? Austria and Switzerland. You know. Oh shit! Sorry, guys.
Only three, is there any three?
So
Poland.
It has so many
Famously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was a big one, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Whew, we just managed to deftly avoid it for almost 30 minutes.
Yeah, no, we haven't.
I mean, yeah, okay. Approaching the topic of the most devastating war in history is obviously a topic not to be taken lightly. But how do Tom and Felix carry the history of, well, you know?
If you ever go to Germany, don't mention the war.
Like we've been doing this whole episode.
Is it still a true thing?
There's definitely some sensitivity when it comes to the Holocaust topic, right? And that is also something that you learn through. If you went to school in Germany, you have went over the Holocaust a million times.
Yeah.
So people are very, very concerned, especially if they don't know you, and you start making like jokes like I did with you, right? About like this topic, then they feel very uncomfortable immediately because like the systematic eradication of a group of humans, and then like you also need to distance yourself from this shit show and makes jokes about it. Same as the people in the concentration camps had like this dark humor, and that's the only way to overcome this, I think, also. But it's in Germany we talk about it as a collective guilt that we have, and
we are proud of not being proud.
Yes, and that is also for a long time hold back this whole patriotism in Germany. Like,
what do you feel like when you think about where you're from?
From Berlin.
Yeah, me too.
Fuck that other place.
Every time I've been to Germany and I have German friends, and every time I've been there is this like, don't mention the war. But what I've found for the last like 30 years, like, people will talk about it and they will joke about it and they will be really funny about it, and they were more educated on it than anybody else because there's no other way around it. And it's kind of, I mean, we talk about it like a lot. There's a levity to it that is necessary.
One of the more profound moments I had in Berlin was at the train station, actually, to the Grunewald. And there's a sign that says Mahnmal, which means monument, and just an arrow.
Yeah.
And I went out, and it was just an empty train, like an empty train platform. And I was like, this is strange. And you could tell it was abandoned. And then little by little, I noticed that there was these little, the stumbling blocks, right, set into the ground that put day by day of the war how many people had gone through that train station and where they were from.
You'll find them all over Germany.
And as somebody who had studied this, whose family had left Hungary before the war, etc., that was the first moment that I actually felt a sense of what had happened. But at the same time, I can't imagine what it's like to grow up carrying that.
Throughout the generations, and me and Felix are about 18 years apart. As Felix said, we're more comfortable with it, but it remains to be a topic that one is really conscious of. And sometimes when I don't know people that well, then I get quite irritated tendency towards angry. When I went to Australia, of course, I look how I look, and people, like when I had longer hair and this straight hair to the right, straight. Yeah, I looked like one of those background actors in a Nazi film, without trying to. Shit, man. And people were making like fun, and I was like,
jokes.
Fucker, you don't know. Like, of course they know, but that's not their life. I know what my great-grandfather did on the one side. I know what the other one did on the other side. I know that my, like all of us who have great-grandparents from the war, we all know what they went through.
Yeah. Our grandfather was in the Netherlands, and he was actually working with the Dutch resistance, and he was forging documents for Jewish partisans. And
Werner Klempke.
Yeah. And on the other hand, you also have the refugees from the east, right? That was traumatizing when you are hearing these stories all the time, because that was basically what defined their lives in a way.
Wow. Okay. Don't worry. We're going to amp up the silliness right after the break.
Stay tuned for more humor in the face of devastation with Tom and Felix through peppermint schnapps, getting naked, building sandcastles, and a horrendous staple of German cuisine, which you won't believe.
We'll see you in a bit. So in keeping with the tenets of German culture, community, and getting wasted, Tom and Felix welcomed us back to our conversation with a bottle of some very ominous-looking liquor.
Okay, we got 2 glasses. These are for you two. I want you to appreciate the font.
It is
It's very nice.
Gothic script,
Yeah.
as it should be.
It's on the back of the bottle of Berliner Luft. It says, without lactose, without gluten, without any additional coloring, without Physimatenten, which essentially means you use it in a sense where you say, don't do any bullshit. Mach mal keine Physimatenten hier. Physimatenten comes, so the legend goes, from the time of occupation after the Second World War. Mm-hmm. Berlin was split in four. Yeah. And the French soldiers in Berlin would go to the German woman and say, Visite ma tante, which means visit my tent. And then in the German dialect, in the Berlin dialect, this would become, mach mal keine Physimatenten, don't visit the tent. And here it says, without any
tent visits.
Without any tent visiting.
I mean, if you drink enough of that, there's going to be some tent visits.
So what is it?
I know.
It looks frighteningly clear.
Yeah. So that drink you're gonna get if you make it to the end of the night in a club in Berlin. So they usually give this stuff for free.
We're pouring it right now.
You're gonna know why they give it for free.
Okay.
In a second.
So we're drinking out of shot glasses that say Berliner Luft in Gothic script.
Prost. Cheers.
Prost.
Cheers.
Prost.
I want that on
Oh my
record.
God. It's
Listerine.
Listerine.
It's Listerine.
It's literally Listerine, isn't it?
Listerine mouthwash.
It's peppermint schnapps.
I got a tent to visit. All right.
Welcome back to MisInfoNation Germany.
Berliner Luft.
So before we actually lose the ability to speak, we should get onto one of the most complicated, precise, and hilarious aspects of the country.
The German language.
Consider that the divorce. I do have respect and love for the language.
It's perfect if you really want to get to the point.
Yeah.
Precision.
Yeah,
It's
precision.
very precise. It's not so cool. It's not a cool language
The difference between I love you, ich liebe dich, and
it's rough. Man.
love ya, which is ich hab dich lieb, is I have you in love,
Okay.
which is a very endearing thing to say, but I love you is a very intensely romantical,
Right.
emotional thing to say.
Yes. You cannot
Switch
say
it.
that. Under no circumstances.
Have you ever said I love you in the correct way?
I was at that guy's wedding last year. I was like, and he married a French woman,
Nobody's perfect.
and then in front of the altar, she said, I love you, and he just stood there. And
He was like, that's nice.
cool, man.
This seems satisfactory.
It seems like a good proposition.
I acknowledge your strong emotions.
And I reciprocate
on.
them. Let's connect later on.
Come back to my tent.
Do you have?
So, intimacy might not lend itself well to the German language, but intimacy comes in many shapes and forms. And the Germans are very, very big fans of letting their love hang out in a very literal way.
Get naked. Being naked in Germany just isn't a big deal.
Yeah.
East German tradition is that you have FKK, free body culture. I know it from the East German perspective.
Sorry.
You got stuck on FKK?
I got stuck on FKK.
Yeah, what does that stand for, FKK?
Fuck.
Free body culture.
Do you guys practice free body culture?
How do you feel about being naked?
Do you want to do it right now?
Look, let me turn off the air conditioning in 8 minutes.
Let's get it on. It is definitely a thing you can do. It's like when you go to the beach here in Sieges or El Prat or further up, people will be naked. Men will wear nothing. Some women will walk around topless or whatever, and it's completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you grew up in a dictator, you're right, in a dictatorship, then you pick, like the places where you can be free or the ways that you can express yourself and being free. And one of these things was just like being naked, because that they didn't take from you basically, or they didn't control in a way. So I think that's what it comes from in East Germany, because in West Germany it's not that popular. It's like a middle finger against communism. And
Yeah, up yours, commies. I have a memory of being in a dark Berlin nightclub and realizing that every single person I was with had wads of cash, something I hadn't seen in a long time. I, of course, had nothing but credit cards. After being refused a drink, my friend Albert explained this very simply. We like money.
So, pro tip. If you're traveling to Germany, Berlin especially, good old-fashioned foldable money is a must.
Hell yeah.
loves the cash.
People will throw you out to go to an ATM.
There's a lot of places where, especially in clubs still. Now it's changing a bit, but definitely if you're in Germany, you need cash on hand the whole time.
The first company I worked for gave me a corporate American Express. I was, I don't know, fucking 20 years old, and I thought like, nice.
Big player.
Turns out you can use it nowhere, and no one is interested in fucking cards anyway.
Nobody.
So,
But American Express, trying to use an American Express,
Well, I mean,
basically
anywhere.
trying to go into a shop and say like, do you take Swiss franc? Or something, you know? Have this on me.
Well, maybe it was the Berliner Luft peppermint schnapps, or maybe we were just scared. But we managed, eventually, to find our way back to the wonderful German language.
So me and Andrés are going to read an English word. You guys have to say
The word in German.
the word in German. And then whoever doesn't say the word has to tell us what it is, what it means.
But we'd say it at the same time.
No, that doesn't work for a podcast.
It's like,
First one wins.
it's like a speed round.
Okay.
Again.
you start, man.
Okay. Dragon fodder.
Drachenfutter.
Drachenfutter.
Food for the dragon.
It's an apology gift.
So you fucked up.
You bring your dragon
Oh,
some
that's
food.
awesome.
Oh, you didn't know
actually.
that?
Oh, that's great.
Lazy animal,
Faultier.
Correct.
which is
It's this.
don't say me, you motherfucker.
Australian.
I was looking for a joke in my head, but I thought I should go the serious way. It's that furry dude with the two very big claws hanging off of the tree.
That's right.
And from an evolutionary perspective, is pretty much
It's the best
fucking
description of a sloth I've ever heard.
It's like
It's a
Sloth. That's
Sloth.
the word.
Sloth,
huh?
yeah,
This is
right.
my
There you
favorite.
go.
This is my favorite.
In Spanish, oso perezoso.
Also perezoso.
I've never heard that before.
Perezoso.
Perezoso.
Slip short, just a perezoso. Lazy.
Okay, fly thing,
Flugzeug.
which is
Aha. Airplane.
a fly thing.
Shoutouts. Do you know his first name? Dilienthal?
Yes.
Yeah. Shoutouts to him. We did that. Oh, wait. When we talk about the wall,
Correct.
we didn't do it. When we talk about anything that's good, yeah, it's us. Hell yeah.
Austrians are actually the bad guys, man.
Yeah, right.
Austrians.
It all
they
started
got
with
us-
an Austrian.
Nope.
Let's not get war. Let's not get war sidetracked with the only funny.
2 times.
3, actually.
Hand shoes.
Handschuhe.
Oh yeah, gloves.
Gloves.
Literally.
It says so much about the language.
I want to
Hand shoes.
point out the beauty of it, because it is the literal example for Germans doing compound words.
Yep.
It's a hand sock.
No, but
It's not a hand shoe. As precise as you are
Yes.
throughout the entirety of history, apart from a few blips, it's a sock. This is my favorite, sorrow bacon.
Sorrow bacon. Is
Sauliger
it? Are you trying to go for beleidigte Leberwurst?
Kauerspeck or
That's
something.
amazing. Wait, what?
Kummerspeck.
Kummerspeck.
Oh,
It's
yes,
maybe a
yes,
word from
yes,
your
yes.
generation. Never heard that.
I need to go for a run.
It's excess weight, sorrow bacon. Ooh, so Andrés goes off script with a final word, which has become something of a classic around here at MisInfoNation.
Abgefummelt.
That's still my favorite.
That's the reaction I was waiting for. Can you explain what it means?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
when something or someone has been touched a lot,
Yes.
it's up before it.
Touched
It's like,
too much.
Touched too much.
Touched too much. So you could use it for a couch, right?
Oh, you could use it for a drink.
Yeah.
So while we're in the flow and before the creeping wobbliness of the mouthwash bathtub peppermint moonshine got the better of us, we decided to head on to a very special EU-sanctioned rules and regulations round, mostly to try and gain back some of the respect that we'd lost in Tom and Felix.
Take it away, Dre.
It's illegal to run out of fuel on the Autobahn.
It is.
Is
it true?
Absolutely true.
Technically, they could impose a fine on you.
You can't mow your lawn on Sunday.
Yeah. I think there's Mittagsruhe, like you have to be quiet around noon.
Siesta
La
time.
cucaracha.
Except nobody's doing siesta.
Yeah.
Everybody's just listening to see what their neighbors are doing.
It's like
Do you remember the Gestapo?
They have ways of making you mow your lawn.
I guess
We will
that's
ask the questions.
tidily on to number 3.
You can't use your car horn unless it's an emergency.
that's true.
That's also true.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
if you're driving anywhere, somebody's like going too slow, you honk your horn.
Would you do that in Bolivia?
Yes. You can honk your horn if you don't like the music they're playing.
Exactly.
That
But
is
it-
not right. I'm sorry.
I believe, I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to have to check it out. But I believe it was a law brought in by,
Uh-oh.
Adolf Hitler.
yes.
Hey, we got it.
You can't dance on Good Friday.
Yeah, that's true.
Technically, Tanzverbot. I think it is a Christian Catholic thing.
Is it like Footloose? Like Germany becomes Footloose for... That's just a reference.
He doesn't know what it is.
That was just a reference for Dre.
This is a reference for anyone listening. It's a movie where dancing is
It's
illegal.
illegal. Yeah.
Go on.
He looked really good in that movie.
Is that Swayze?
No,
Kevin
it's
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love the.
Now he's Kevin Sorrow.
You can only build sandcastles in certain designated areas on the beach.
So in the Netherlands, like German people are super popular for digging holes in the beach and building sandcastles. So
We're reminded
living
of
there,
something.
I saw it with my own eyes. Like other Dutch people, they just enjoying the beach. But the Germans, they go straight to work. Like this is part of the Atlantic Wall. We're gonna build some
Digging trenches.
some trenches here. In case the Americans gonna show up.
Just facing the sea.
We are having fun.
Yes, we're having fun digging this ditch.
Posting foodie Instagram photos of elaborately presented dishes in restaurants is illegal because of artistic copyright issues.
You guys might not know that, but I'm actually an influencer. And I can tell you, it's not the case. Honestly,
Drum
it's also a
beatbox.
question of how good you look.
You're not even in. You're not even in the
it's
picture.
Also, you sit in front of the judge, not the food.
You mean in
Influencers.
the trial it depends how good
Exactly.
you look. All right.
That's exactly what I mean.
Well, your entire life is a boulevard of unbroken green lights. It's illegal not to play Kraftwerk's Autobahn when driving on the Autobahn.
Kraftwerk.
Electronic music. Shit.
Kraftwerk. Oh.
Yeah.
The police will pull you over, and if you're not playing Kraftwerk, they'll fine you.
The reason I appreciate Kraftwerk is because one of the members has my last name.
Oh shit.
Oh, do they?
Really?
Karl Bartos.
Bartosz. Anyway, that's
Same thing.
completely not true. I just wanted to get Kraftwerk in there because I love Kraftwerk.
Can you please say Kraftwerk?
Kraftwerk.
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 I am the operator of my pocket calculator.
German food. German food. Not really two words that conjure up images of beautifully presented gourmet fare.
Schnitzel, sausages, and potato salad seem to stand alone in the pantheon of the country's most well-known dishes.
But what Germans really do better than anyone else is the late-night kebab.
I mean, just listen to Tom and Felix light up.
All right, let's talk about kebabs.
Yeah, let's talk about kebabs.
Turkish
What's
food.
up? Oh, we're here.
That's where we are. So it was invented in Berlin. I had many conversations about this with Turkish people all around the world, but fuck it, man, it's our shit. Turkish people came to Berlin, they found the cabbage, the kohl, and then they made the kebab. It's the best thing.
It's the best thing ever.
So how do you guys like it?
All of the salad except for onions, herbal sauce, and spicy sauce. Then normal meat. If you say normal meat, they know what you mean. It's basically
Human.
vile. Is it? No, is it?
Vile human.
Veal. Yeah, exactly.
It's vile.
You're vile.
Neil, this is not funny. This is my culture.
Veal or lamb?
No.
Veal.
Veal or lamb? Well, depends on where you go, to be honest. But it's always halal. And that's the one I go for when I'm not drunk. When I'm drunk, I go to the kebab place and I say, alles komplett. Everything.
Just
Which
all
means
of
you
it.
get all of the sauces, all of the salad, and then typically you get the veal.
But just bring cash. Here's another German obsession that may not make too much sense in a country not exactly renowned for high, sweltering summer temperatures.
The Germans love ice cream. In fact, by 2022, the German ice cream market was valued at $3 billion, the most valuable in the whole of Europe. Ice cream all year round, no matter what.
They're nodding.
Definitely.
Man.
Just me saying that and you saying yes, definitely, that's the most beautiful thing.
You know,
What, like-
when you genetically and culturally have a heart made of Arctic ice, you don't care anymore. You think Langnese is going to change anything about that? No, I'm going to enjoy that ice even at minus 30.
How do you go? I mean, now that we're...
Cone or cup?
Cup, because I focus on the essential things in my life.
He doesn't like the phallus object.
So listen, in researching MisInfoNation, sometimes we come across something so special, so bizarre, so incredible. And today, we give you a true culinary gift to the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, meet the Mettigel. I'm going to show Andrés a picture.
Go. Just go. What the fuck? They're gonna have to see that.
Ah, and Mettigel.
They're like, oh, you just want to give him a cuddle.
This is the horror of German cuisine.
I've never seen anything so
We
horrendous.
have to describe it.
It's a minced meat hedgehog. That's the literal translation of it.
Yeah.
But
So
honestly, you know, like one of the most popular things in the university cafeteria is that sandwiches with that thing.
Serious?
Yes, it's got a Mettbrötchen and it's super quick sold out. You know, like everyone loves this shit.
Wait, so how do you eat it? Do you take out its spines and then take its body apart with its own spines?
hell yeah.
Yeah.
I just
But you can also eat it like that. I mention
I just
it's
love it.
a bit
woman
spicy.
who, let me just point out, the woman who posted this, her name is Shitty Food Porn.
What I love is this person posted it as shitty food porn, and then the comments are things like, should I downvote it because it doesn't look shitty, or upvote it because Mettigel are wonderful?
Looks delicious, not shitty at all. Texturally, I'm a little scared of this. I'll still try it though.
Then somebody responds, it's pretty creamy.
Look at it. What the fuck? This is beautiful.
So, Raw meat fashioned into the shape of incredibly cute animals aside, let's get down to business.
What does Germany do better than anybody else?
People talk about how Germany is really slow in taking decisions and not as forceful as sometimes. I think that's actually a good thing. Taking care of each other, also a thing I like. It's also a European thing in general. The social system that enables us to say, okay, there's a way where we can kind of help anyone, even if it's flawed, but there's a way where no one is left alone too much, at least. And that's what I like about this country, but also this continent in general, or the European Union in general, where we're all in this together and we're kind of taking care.
It certainly is a great part of living in one of the most secure nations in the world.
But on the flip side, maybe the thing Germany does worse than anyone is a direct consequence of being so cautious.
If you look at smaller countries in Europe, like Denmark or the Netherlands, or then they're way more connected to the rest of the world. While in Germany, you are very much in your own ecosystem. You know, like your own. The language barrier is sometimes just like too big for this country to evolve as quickly as the Netherlands or Sweden or something. The people also have this. They identify with their profession in intensely. So they are, like you're a bricklayer, and then all your life is defined by this. You know, like you become the biggest bricklayer that there is, or you have a hobby, and you like mountain climbing, and then like you bring it to a level that is very minuscule. You know, like you put emphasis on every detail and stuff, and it's just not fun anymore, right? You lose that fun somewhere along the way. That is kind of where we suck, right? We suck at enjoying life. If you look to a Brazilian or something, or someone from South America, like
playfulness.
Yes, like they start with enjoying first, and then like everything else
we'll work it out later.
Yeah, then we work it out later.
I
exactly.
don't know what's happening now.
And for us, it's unfortunately, like the last thing in the equation. So I feel like that is kind of missing in this country.
Well, Tom and Felix, you can rest assured that you certainly don't fit the mold in that regard. The people I've met that are from Germany have this kind of ability to excel. And it's true, like I get what you say, that sometimes there's like fun is taken out of it, but there is a kind of like
drive.
Yeah. Let's like take Tom, for example.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Tom's a younger man as compared to us. When I was your age, for example, I didn't have half of like your North Star. You know what I mean? I was a complete disaster. So it's like, it's impressive.
And me and Felix are roughly the same age. You're a couple of years younger than me, and I still look at you and go, "Ah, fuck that guy!
Yeah,
Jesus Christ! It's like this."
I'm dying. You don't know.
No, but
you don't know me up there.
It is true. It is true. It is true. There's a wonderful focus. The thing that we get carried away with in different countries, where like the immediate negative stereotype of somewhere is not the negative stereotype. You just change the word. It's like you're not anal.
Thank you.
Thank God.
You're focused. Yeah. It's just a little change of a word. As is the case with any passport-holding citizen of the world, that little document is filled with invisible stamps of history and prejudice and stereotypes and perceived lunacy.
So as we always do, we asked Tom and Felix what rests on their strong, broad German shoulders when traveling the world.
What I feel like, especially when you are, like not as German as they come, right? then you feel like some always, like your surroundings put some kind of conformity on you. You feel like you have to conform to their ideas about how you behave. So all of a sudden, like everything expects you to be fucking punctual. I mean, like it's not the worst thing in the world to be from this country, but there's a lot of baggage that you drag around with this passport.
It's a big one, yeah.
All this war, Holocaust, and blah blah blah. I mean, like you give us some space to catch up with your level of humor or something, because it could be that you're serious. So it definitely makes sense to take some of these things, like more into account, I guess.
And what you know? How heavy is your German backpack?
Yep.
It was always, I noticed every time I was abroad, it was always pretty clear that I'm German. I speak the way I speak, I have the accent I have, I look the way I look, and the total package tells you I'm German. Pretty much, look at my passport.
Let's not get too personal, yeah.
Yeah, it's like 100%.
And
I never felt like I needed to be anything but that. I try to tell people like what my world is, my world of ideas, my culture, what I've learned in my life, and that's heavily influenced by the fact that I'm German. I don't get angry when people are late. I don't like to be late. I will never be late if I can. But when one of my friends from here is late, I know exactly what it is about. And kind of conveying that image that you are from a certain country and you are a certain person. But, I'll always be a German to everyone else.
But in your heart, you're a Berliner.
Yeah, I'm a Berliner. Yeah, but you know what I mean, right? And then you're still open to everything, and then you let the world in, and the world lets you kind of in.
So there you go.
Who would have guessed that the Germans are wonderfully polite, kind, thoughtful, measured, blonde-haired, blue-eyed, car-obsessed cultural philosophers?
So let's go make ourselves a raw meat hedgehog and...
Shit, we gotta empty this bottle.
Thank you so much.
that was a positive ending.
Yeah, we tried.
That was absolutely lovely.
So, huge thanks to Tom and Felix for hanging out with us today on MisInfoNation.
Next time, we're off to a place neither myself or Andrés have any idea about at all. The Philippines.
And remember, if you think it's a stupid question, it probably isn't.
This episode of MisInfoNation was written and produced by me, Neil Innes, and Andrés Bartos. Huge thanks again to our friends Tom and Felix for putting up with all the juvenile bell ringing and for letting us mention the war a lot. Our theme music for MisInfoNation is by River Deep Mountain Dew. The show is mixed and mastered by Julian Kwasniewski. Stacey Book, Dominic Ferrari, and Avi Glujansky are in a limo race on the Autobahn doing 160 miles per hour. They also executive produce the show, which is hosted by me, Neil Innes, and a man who recently hasn't been touched enough. Andrés Bartos. We'll see you in the next place.